Welcome to Via the Grapevine, proudly brought to you by Tony DaCosta of Liquor City, Claremont, and offering you the chance to learn more about wine, the masters behind them, and even which wines to collect. If you're a regular listener of Via the Grapevine, or indeed a fan, you should be familiar with this brand. We featured it June of last year, and from the looks of it, there have been some fantastic developments since then. I speak, of course, of a marketing dream that melds both the love of bacon and TV shows in a wine brand called Spider Pig. My guests today are the Davids of Spider Pig Wines, David Wibberley and David Nell. Welcome, gents.
Thanks, Guy.
Thank you. Thank you. How's it?
And for those that don't know, if you're watching the screen, it would be what? Left-hand side, David Wibberley, right-hand side, David Nell. Yeah, excellent. Or David Nell with a beard, David Wibberley.
That's
there
it.
we go.
Just
Smoky with the beard.
Teenage complexion. I think let's start off with for those viewers that aren't familiar with your brand, let's give them a little refresher of the concept behind the brand and why you two decided to sell wine together.
Well, I mean, I think the relationship choice was obvious. I mean, just look at him. I mean, his face is on one of our bottles. I mean, one of the top selling ones. So, you know, that was easy choice. Look, I think we've both come from a sort of very strong wine background. Myself, hospitality, Dave, very entrenched in wine over a number of years with numerous successful brands. And we just saw markets where, you know, we often play in the sort of geeky space of high-end product. And we wanted to sort of facilitate a gap between sort of the guys sitting in the paddling pool of wine and just sort of feed wine into an area where they could bring them over into sort of our sort of space, but with the big premise of having fun. And it was actually Dave's sort of brainchild in the sense of the idea of the name, but it entrenched in my head was this sort of video, you know, within the Simpsons movie that that I thoroughly enjoyed, in which most people have come hopping along and singing to us, you know, of recent. And he just said, look, we've got to do a wine called exactly that. And he said, you got to do a wine called Spider Pig. And I said, that is an amazing idea. And Dave forgot that he told me that. And literally 2 weeks later, we had a label and we had some wine lying around, put it together, and, you know, trying not to sound cliched because that's not what our brand is about, but the rest has been kind of history. And we've sort of just put the wine out there to people, and we've really just let it evolve in the case of the consumer sort of asking us and telling us what to do and us just listening. Oh.
Very exciting to see that name behind you on the wall, because into your 5th year now, and you've stepped things up with the Pig Sty.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, most people would call it a tasting room, but I love your description, a personalized engagement experience.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's enough tasting rooms and cellar doors out there, you know, and we're not essentially a wine estate, we're a, you know, wine concept producer, and the reason why the Pig Sty exists is because people just asked us, where are you based? It's a pretty sort of common question asked when people are, you know, drinking wine, you know, and we just said we needed to create an area where we could have a bit of fun, as we've said before, you know, where we can engage with consumers and just do whatever the hell we want.
I want to take a step back, and I should have asked this question before even talking about the sign behind you, but David, now the name Spider Pig, obviously, as Wibberley has mentioned, you came up with that name. What kind of led you to that? Because I think that's the key with any kind of startup brand. Is have something that's so hot, you can't refuse it.
Yeah, it was, I'd been out in the Himmelnade Valley with some other winemaker friends of mine doing a wine release, and ended up back at the friend's place just having a nice braai and, you know, drinking far too much really awesome wine. And yeah, I started singing the Spider Pig theme song. And I was just like, this would be a really cool brand, because you can have something on the label that looks fun and funky and is not very serious, which is what a lot of wines are. And it's like the quality in the bottle is still super high end, but it's more of a fun look at wine and like what you can do without being, you know, too serious about the wine. So that's when I got hold of the other Dave and said, why don't we do this? You know, just as a play around, you know, to see what it was going to be like. And the first lot of wine that we had made for us sold out within like a couple of weeks. And we'd like, okay, let's make some more. And slowly but surely, we're now making a lot of wine. If I'm looking at the rest of the Pig Sty now, we've got a fair amount of juice here that we need to get through. But yeah, no, the take-up's been really good over the past, 5 and a bit years now. So it's been lekker.
Best thing about having a name like that for your base is that you never have to keep anything tidy as well, hey?
Exactly. In fact, the tagline is "Please excuse the mess."
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. You've touched on it. Your labeling is fun. It's funky. It's lighthearted. Your brand strategy, as you've said, is to take away that intimidation factor of wine tasting. It's a vision where what's outside is fun, but what's inside is serious. How do you convince people then to take your wine seriously? Because it really is a fine marketing line, isn't it?
It is, and I think you got to look at it, and you can't just singulate it. You've got to really just sort of, you're trying to cover a few spectrums here where not everyone's going to be on the same wavelength at any given time. So what we're trying to do is find certain pieces that play on people's sort of emotional side of things, sort of spaces where they're in, what they're doing, time of year. I think there's more to wine than just sort of having an estate and a site and looking and making specific wines year after year and looking at vintage. We kind of look at trends. We kind of look at what our friends would be drinking, what people are looking for in terms of what are popular sort of grape varieties in the market right now, which also gives us the ability to be flexible in our brand as well. So we put something out that's not working, we will sell it, because to be honest, both of us have a really good sales arm as well, and that's a double force, which is an important part of your brand. And we look at things that are working, and a lot of collaborations coming through. I think we're kind of in a sweet spot where what we're putting there is we've listened to people and what they're asking for. And in terms of taking the serious side, we think that that some of the winemakers who work have achieved sort of great things in their own rights. We just take sort of marketing spin and putting it on it. But there are levels. I think you've got to have levels in certain things to allow people to take it serious. And I think, one wine we'll touch on a bit later is the Black Pig, which kind of sort of putting us in that element of what we're doing. We're just really good listeners.
No, but it's also, my main thing is to take these wines around over to the restaurants and to get the wines some FaceTime at high-end restaurants where a lot of people go, and they're not just going to take the wines because it's me. Like they'll look at the labels and be like, oh, that's really funny, but they've also got to pass that wine on to the client at the end of the day, and they're not going to be like, oh, here's the Spider Pig Rosé Brose because it's funny. It's like they've got the wine there because it's a really good product at the end of the day. Sure, it's got me on the label holding a little spider piglet. Yes, it's funny, like it's a talking point, and we get a lot of guys who like who phone us and go, hey, where can we get your product? Like we had it at Tali the other day. It went very well with the food we were having. Like we love the concept. Where can we buy it? And we send them over to Liquor City or any of the other bottle stores that have our wine, and also we can send them over to our own website. But like as I said before, like the labels are fun, but at the end of the day, you've got to sell the wine, and it's got to be really in the bottle. You can't just say, here's a 3D pig, it's made by Duncan Savage, but it's okay. It's got to be really good juice. It's like, there's only so much I can sell.
I can imagine that there's been a lot of somms or restaurateurs who've looked at you with side eye, tasted the wine, and then gone, "This is really good," exactly as if it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, and that's kind of like sort of the technique where we sort of disarm them and go like, "Well, how much are you taking now?" So like, it's it's not like we just sort of were accountants and like sort of decided, oh, one day we're going to start making wine. And we pretty much have the experience and know how to what we're doing. So, 3D Pig that we mentioned actually sort of is something we've evolved to, saying there are the three important components of wine are a really good winemaker, a strong sales arm, and some sort of creative marketing to put it all together. And, and with that, you've got to have, So we've been working a lot of relationships we've had and worked on for years. So none of this has been thumbsuck. Everything's been sort of thought out of what we're doing. And I think people's response is that we're trying to create that how do I say, that trust in the brand. So anytime you pick up any bottle of Spider Pig, there's going to be something good, because basically we're going out there and sourcing something terrific for what it is in that particular cultivar to put in the bottle.
I wanted to ask on that 3D pig. I noticed that you named the winemaker. You don't often do that, though. Hey, is that something you're going to start doing more of? Is naming the winemakers? Or
Sure. What a great question, Guy. What a great question. I think you mentioned.
Sounds like I don't want to answer that question, Guy.
I'll tell you. We'll tell you straight up now. In the beginning, people weren't sure about what we were doing and where it was going and how what was going to happen. But I think people have seen the relative success, and I can say that. I mean, we've really grown year on year to a point where we're very comfortable now taking the wines internationally as well. And you know, people too sort of hairy to put their names behind it, but we definitely reference the guys who make the wines for us. And now a guy like Duncan Savage always wanted to do a wine together. You know, it took us 2 years to get to that point where we found something that, you know, fit into the three of us sort of dynamics. So, and he was just like, yeah, totally. But I mean, the 3D is essentially 2 Daves and a Duncan, and that's really just what the concept is, and going back to 3-dimensional. So yeah, look, I mean, we do reference who makes the wines for us now, and I think it's we never work off anyone or trade off anyone else's name and success. It's more of a working partnership and relationship, which I think is also key in business. You know, we don't just suddenly work with someone because they want to do something. If there's no symmetry in us, the relationship, we won't work with them.
But I mean, it's also as well, like if anybody asks us, I mean, if we take the wines around and they say, "Who made your Chenin Blanc?" It's not as if we're not allowed to tell them. You know, we can't say, "I know Stephanie Wide from Thistle and Weed," like, and she'll be on the phone immediately saying, "Geez, I can't believe you said that." They have no problem with us letting them know. It's just that this is the first one we've actually put the winemaker, his name on the back label. Like, I know going forward, we'll probably do it more, you know, just so we don't have to explain it every time we go out. Like the Chardonnay made by Adam Mason, who's recently moved from Maldebosch over to De Morganzon, Christo Lariche, who makes our Black Pig. So they're high-end guys who make the stuff. And I mean, the juice is good, and they don't, I mean, we're not going to want to take a wine from someone who's not going to be wanting to put their name on the back label as well. If anybody, and they say, "Listen, we really don't want to have our name on the label with Spider Pig," then there's no real point in actually working with them. So we can reference them whenever we want. It's just that this is the first wine we've done where we've actually stuck it on the back label and said, "Well, there we go. That is the winemaker. We don't need to tell you."
Sounds to me that after 5 and a bit years, finally the winemakers have bought into your brand, and they're like, "Yeah, exactly. I put my name on the back there. I'm proud of this." We're tasting a bit of the 3D, hey? Is that right? Or yeah.
I've got some Pig. He's got some 3D Pig. I just thought I'd mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll let Dave talk about Bordeaux because he's not the Bordeaux specialist. So.
So the 3D Cab Frank and Cab.
Yeah, so I mean,
70% Cab Sav.
It's amazing how like the number 3 sort of comes up in our thing. It's like it's half an 8, and we use the symbol 8 as like a fat pig. And you know, most of our blends, this is you know, it's 2/3 of something and 1/3 of something else. Same with Black Pig, and because basically when Dave and I go out for lunch, if we get a bottle of wine, he drinks 2/3 and I drink 1/3. So that's why, you know, it's just
lies.
It's
who pays? Who pays 2/3?
Yeah, sometimes. It's just little intricacies like that, how things sort of work out. Yeah, and also the wines that we have in our range are sort of pretty reminiscent of sort of wines that we like to drink together. So it is a circles, you know, we've had what's going out there. You know, we wanted the products to be expression of who we are. So, you know, wouldn't essentially just put out something that we didn't know of or wouldn't drink ourselves.
It's a lot more serious wine than that label belies. I mean, that's quite pop arty. There's nothing pop arty about this wine. It's really
this guy, marketing
sure.
guru.
Just wait till you see the new website. I mean, Andy Warhol would be sending me a message from the grave.
It's surprisingly good.
Not only just a wacky label, but some decent juice as well.
Yeah.
And tell me about I believe you've got cultivar specific glassware as one of the highlights at the Pig Sty. So we've still worked really closely with Spiegelau. You know, the classic glass, you know, great brand, the guys at Cape and Porters, they bring. You know, we've always just felt that, you know, we're creating some lifestyle wines, so not have some lifestyle glassware. And, you know,
So we're actually just drinking out the little Black Pig. There's a little logo there somewhere. So we've got the perfect rosé glass. So if you really want to come and see what the perfect rosé glass is about, you've got to come to the Pig Sty. And then we've just got we use the wine lovers as our sort of standard range. And then we've got some Burgundy glasses here just to mix things up. And then we use a Bordeaux Salute glass here from Spiegel, just to showcase what the difference is. And the other thing is the people are here and they go like, oh, I don't really get it and stuff. Well, then switch it around. You know, it's no like sort of, this is what you have to do. This is the glass. It's kind of just sort of, again, a thought-provoking exercise to have that there. It's nice for people to understand because I think there must be a learning exercise when you come to the Pig Sty as well. You know, we're not telling you what to do, how to do it. We're just showcasing what's out there so people can have a little bit of a takeaway in that sense. And having fun drinking wine at the same time. There's no like, this is a red glass, this is a white glass. You know, we're trying to create that feeder system.
Yes, I've got you. I got a feeling that you guys should definitely, if you're not already considering it, you should definitely bottle an MCC, because you could have a lot of fun with that comparison between flutes and proper wine glasses, and I would like to see a.
Do you want to tell him what?
Just say, watch this space, basically.
It's been done.
Been done.
How long was the watch for?
Actually, not too long. Actually,
come on now.
No, it's called. We're bringing out a bubbly called Respect MCC. Yeah,
I like that.
Exactly.
Sure.
It's gonna have a beautiful little black and gold label, similar to the Black Pig. It's a 90% Pinot, 10% Chardonnay blend. Classic. Yeah, it's pink. It had to be. And we're sort of doing it in honor of one of our sort of first super fans, Bantus Bisson's pet pig called Speck. So yeah, he kind of gave us the idea behind it, and it's basically just a respect notion to
respect the pig.
Respect the pig, yeah.
Sure, no pressure on him to sell the most volume as well now that he's giving
no
you
pressure
that
at all.
So let's talk us through your range of wines that you've currently got available. I mean, we've discovered now that there will be an MCC soon. Obviously, we know the Pinot Noir, the Pig. We've spoken a bit about 3D. We're going to talk a bit more about Black Pig, but there's a Chardonnay as well.
Yeah, there's a Chenin Blanc.
You go for it.
There's a Rosé, which is a big field blend, predominantly Cinsault and Colombar. There's our 2017 Pinot Noir has just also come out. The Porto Pig was a one-off specifically for Liquor City. We've got the Grenache Noir as well. Yeah, we've got the 3D, we've got the Black Pig. Yeah, that was a one-off that was made specifically for them.
Wonderful story that, but that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, whole nother episode, 2 hours long. And then, yeah, the MCC is coming out as well, hopefully before before summer comes.
Yep.
Would be rad. So we can get it out there. I mean, there's not a lot of it, obviously. You've got to keep them hungry. But yeah, that's the range, yeah? Sorry. And we also do a Cinsault made by Alex Milner from Natafella.
Fantastic. The cat's off. Sorry about that.
Just another P to add to the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's classic.
Pussycat and the Pig. I see a label there for you.
Collaboration of note.
I'll take a third, eh? I'll take a third of that. Thanks.
There you go.
But you've got to sell a third of it then.
Yes. Let's move on to this. I mean, I would actually like to know the story about the one-off for Liquor City, but as you say, it might be a bit long. So maybe
it's definitely around the fire chat story, but it's good.
We might do another one.
Say again?
We might do another one. We just need to get some more juice.
It was very popular.
Yeah, super popular.
In fact, we bought some of that wine back from Tony to sell it to our friends because they were asking for more.
Yeah.
Well, it's featured on our weekly wine list, so I hope there better be more stock available for sale.
At Liquor City there is, yes.
Yeah, at Liquor City Claremont there is.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move to Not All Superheroes Are Human, the Black Pig 2019, something that I get from whenever you talk, you're immensely proud of this particular wine.
Well, it was a project that came along a while back, and when we won an award for a design label for that. I mean, everyone will see the 9 blocks, you know, kind of features in a lot of our products. You know, it's, you know, so we're not just sort of really sort of under operating under one logo. Yeah. So that's kind of been sort of something we kind of looked at. And a while ago, Dave and I said we had to do something in black and gold. What it looked like, we had no idea until a conversation just happened with, at a time I actually wasn't even working for Spider Pig at the time. And
on the slide he was.
Yeah, we were trying to bring Cinso back, bring Cinso back. And we saw like an old school blend, trying to be proudly South African as well, because again, part of our thing, just snippet here, is to, the wines we take internationally now need to be representative of what South Africa is. And with the brand, we want to be able to sort of educate people, up north, what South Africa is all about, and in a different focus. And Dave, massive fan of Cinso. As you can see, it's in like three of our wines already. And I'm a big Bordeaux fan, and I just wanted to add some really delicious cab into the product. And sure, we were so lucky to get offered some 47-year-old old vine Cinso and some super delicious cab. What's now 21-year-old bush vine Stellenbosch cab to do with a great winemaker in his own capacity in Christo. And this wine has just come leaps and bounds. I think 2018 took us both by surprise. And we now sort of sit down and really give it. We sit there and taste 2 barrels and blend, and it's just in components, and we're sort of trying to visualize inside. But I think this is the one that sort of really just sort of steps away from the rest of the brand in what we're doing. We have sort of wrapped it up, which I see you eloquently took away all that beautiful wrapping paper off the bottle.
The cat's sitting on it now.
Yeah.
At least it's getting a second use.
Yeah, we've got some really cool things to do with this wine. It'll be coming along with an actual black diamond in the next vintage. So yeah, I think it's just a representation of what South African sort of old school blends are really about.
Well, it is. I mean, that's what it used to be. The majority of the red blends were Cinso driven, although they would have said cab or pinotage on them. The majority of those really old ones had at least like 50% or more Cinso in. But back then they didn't have to put it on the label because no one really knew what it was, but everybody knew what a Cabernet was or was. So I mean, there are a few other guys that make a blend like this, and one of them's Adam Mason, who makes our Chardonnay. He makes a brand called Raised by Wolves, and his wine is called Old School, to showcase what it used to be like back in the day. So this is our take on that. The black pig, not all pigs.
Yes, not all pigs are pink.
Except the walls pink with black.
What I love about this is that the strawberry, from obviously that Cinso influence, but the strawberry just bounces straight out the nose. Obviously, if you don't like strawberries, you've got a bit of a problem. But if you love strawberries as I do, boom, it's right there, and it's a lovely kind of precursor to then exploring. And I think that's important as well when you're introducing people to wine, is to not have, if we're talking about intimidation, is to not have something that is so complicated on the nose that it scares people off. I think it's nice to have at least one thing that jumps out. People go, oh yes, I know, I get that. And then you can start talking them through. You get the plum sauce as well. Are you picking up hints of chocolate? So I love that. Well done to you on achieving that. To me, that certainly takes that intimidation factor away, even though the bottle itself says stupidly classy, this.
Thanks. Well, we can be classy at some stage. Look, I think, guy with Black Pig, you are drinking 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon, with some Cinso. There's not many 2019 cabs even on shelf yet, just show that the complexity of this wine and, some quality winemaking and some blending there just showcases what we can do in terms of, some of our heritage grape varietals. And this wine will also lie down for 10, 20 years quite easily. But the fact that you can just smash this right now is, again, just showcasing that, you can enjoy big wines in a sort of lighter way. That's
a fine balance of it, isn't it? Is to have something that can be enjoyed now and kept for later. And as some previous guests have said, they say buy a case and open a bottle every year just to see what the time does to it.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to do it, actually. I always say buy 2 cases, stick 6 away, and then do that. Open up a bottle every year and just see how it's going.
Are you still supporting the Piggy Preservation Project? Is that still going?
So that's changed quite significantly. You know, it's something we want to kick off. Us just being still a small startup to try and sort of leapfrog that into the. It's been challenging, but I can tell you that we are linking with Wellness Warehouse now with a new product called Rocking Pig. It's basically a red and it's a bushfire Shannon and a red blend that is 100% vegan friendly. So we're going to be the first pig product that's vegan friendly on shelf. Yeah, we're just trying a different angle in terms of a marketing sphere. We're going to be putting it through there. They're keen on the brand side of things. So we try to work something specifically in what they're doing with their on-shelf elements. It's sort of more healthy style of living and drinking. So again, as I said earlier about the flexibility and versatility of Spider Pig, that we can do that. And I'm hoping that we're going to use that as a sort of a test point just to see the response, because if that takes off, we'd like to create Rocking Pig into being the brand that comes in at a nice price point where we can raise some funds and still put something back into pig conservation. It is our CSR project that we will get off the ground at some stage. I just don't think we're big enough yet to be able to make it really work. Although we did raise some money initially with Baptist originally, which has gone to an animal shelter on that side. We've even visited Picasso, the pig, out in the SA Farm Sanctuary out in Franschhoek to see what he was all about. So lots of conversations being had. I think it's just trying to make it work, but it's certainly at the top of our mind.
Awesome. If I may ask, how many winemakers are you now working with as well? David, now?
Let's do, what's there? There's Corlia, Adam Mason, Stephanie Wide, Christo Lariche, Duncan Savage, Alex Milner, Leon Kutsia. Yeah.
And 2 new ones, possibly.
So,
and when you say 2 new ones, are the winemakers starting to approach you, or are you still having to approach
yeah, some of them are
yes.
in a way that's not exactly what we want to do, because we want to be involved with a portion of the winemaking, but obviously it's their 9 to 5. You know, they know how to make wine, we know how to market and sell the wine. So there are a few very high-end winemakers who do get hold of us. One very recently, as in yesterday, but I can't mention names. They are like, we've got some wine for you if you would like. We'd like to put it under the Spider Pig brand. So yeah, I mean, there are guys asking us. We don't have to go after anyone now, but yeah, we're trying to keep our Pig Sty not like, we don't need more of a mess. You know, yeah, it's we've got a lot of products, but obviously the more the merrier in the Pig Sty. But
we're looking at certain markets and also just branding, you know, because a lot of also what we do under Spider Pig, you know, our holding company is Fatty Bacon Production. So we actually do a couple of sort of bespoke labelings for different venues and restaurants and stuff as well. So there's other wines that we've made that are not really under Spider Pig, but are just there in terms of collaborations and trying to get people set up. And we just use all our sort of resources to assist. So there's concepts and ideas, but I think we've worked really hard to get to this point to have like our fixed sort of 8 in the range. I think if anything, the only wine we'll add on later down the line is we'll bring Rome Piggy Rome back.
We'll have a Sauvignon Blanc called the Savvy Pig.
The Savvy Pig.
Nice. Love that. I mean, it writes itself, doesn't it? You don't really have to think too hard about these names.
Oh, yeah, the pig goes with everything. But the only thing is that we both don't really enjoy Sauvignon Blanc. I go so far as to say that I hate it, but I do have one every now and then. But my wife loves drinking it, so I kind of have to make a Sauvignon Blanc for her. And she actually said, yeah, the Savvy Pig. And we were like, that sounds pretty rad. So she even did the name for us. We didn't even have to do that. So we just now need to make a Savvy.
And we just need to give us
awesome.
Some for us.
Yeah, the crayon label.
That Chardonnay that you've offered up as part of the prize hamper, is it a unwooded Chardonnay?
No, it's wooded.
It's wooded, yeah. Look.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Again, guys. So a lot of our wines are very food, social, and just entertainment friendly. So we understand that big wooded Chardonnays are a very specific market. You know, that side of it. It's not really everyone's taste, but. And most of our wines are made with sort of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 4th fill. There are hardly any new wood. The only one's new wood, in fact, two wines that we've tasted here now, because they're sort of in that sort of echelon of cultivars. But we try to make the wine sociable as anything. Just because also with acid as well, we keep the acid quite low, and even the alcohol, we try to keep the alcohol low down, because that's obviously a big thing in terms of people drinking now, and sort of the new generation of drinkers are very conscious about, you know, levels of alcohol. Again, we also want people to enjoy 2 or 3 bottles, not just have 2 glasses and end up lying on the floor. So yeah, nobody wins then. So we are aware of that, and this is where we get, as Dave said earlier, we're trying to get more into the actual sort of winemaking side of things, because stylistically the guys who worked before, we know what they're capable of doing. So it's kind of just sort of been managing from afar. But yeah, we're getting more hands-on now. Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Chardonnay, and I love a wooded Chardonnay. So I'm totally excited to hear that that's what your offering is. And it sounds like the Pig Sty is a very creative place to come and visit. Are you open every day?
Seen it yet, have you?
Oh no, it's booking by appointment. You need to book, and he's the man who guides you through the tasting. If I'm around, then I can help as well. So there's off the wall Chardonnay.
Off the wall. It's the fat pig on the wall. It's off the wall because it's off the charts. Good.
And also we found out recently that it's the name of a surf spot in Sea Point called Off the Wall. So hopefully some surfers will buy the Chardonnay, although I think they're more beer drinkers, although I'm not really discriminating here. I'll take that back. But yeah, it's a lightly wooded Chardonnay made by Mason. The grapes are from Pickeneerskloof, from a farm called Tierhoek. And yeah, it's delicious, smashable Chardonnay. It's not that big, heavy, I wouldn't say overwooded Chardonnay, just it's a lovely balance. It's got the fruit, it's got the wood, it's very nicely integrated, it works well. It's not loads of fruit, loads of wood, massive wine. You can drink it on its own, but it does go super well with food.
I think it was the Jackson 5 that also released an album called Off the Wall.
There we go. You see the references just keep on coming.
Wasn't it?
I'm going to let you guys get back to business. So before we release you completely, I've got some quick fire.
You were talking about tastings. Yeah. So
yes,
you did just saying it really, our new website will go live pretty much today or tomorrow. We spent some time during lockdown refixing that. So this is by appointment only, because we can only really facilitate small groups in terms of tastings. We are going to be doing piggy parties once a month. So that'll be like a regular thing, with social distancing and everything else all included in that. There will be pool parties, pork parties, whatever it is we feel like doing. We're going to do poses and parent parties, you know, just one day it'll just be the letter P. But yeah, so just be booked directly with me, because it is an engagement experience. We take you through it. You know, you can get dressed up if you want to. I've got a pig onesie to join in if someone wants to really go that. We have a onesie party, Dave.
No.
We're going to have a onesie party. So yeah, it's a case of just making a phone call and coming through.
fantastic. We look forward to it. Yeah, I noticed that the website was under review over the weekend. Clicking on there, so I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, there was a lot of work being done. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So yeah, quick fire questions to wrap. Don't think too hard about the answers to these. Whatever comes to mind first up, and you're welcome to take turns answering. Only one person answer. I don't mind. It's really up to you. I'm deep into this black pig now. The first one is favorite variety to drink.
Chenin Blanc.
Rosé.
That's so interesting, because I would have guessed as much for Wibberley.
Rosé is a variety. You drink that. That's what you drink.
Yeah, rosé.
He's got a lot to learn.
I thought you were going to go with Sinsal though, David. Now, so that's interesting.
No, he's great Chenin. Yeah,
at the moment, it's.
You should have asked us favorite white, favorite red. That would have been easier.
No, I like that variety.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm a massive cab man. I really enjoy autos and so.
As long as it's watered down into a rosé form, is that right?
There we go.
Nothing wrong with rosé. Music. I don't know if you guys remember the band Squeal, South African band out of Durban. Squeal,
faintly.
Long Pig or Pink Floyd with pigs? Which one of the two?
Ooh.
Pink Floyd with pigs.
Pink Floyd with pigs.
Are you guys telling me you don't remember the band Squeal at all?
Where is Durban?
jeepers. He takes that back immediately.
Jax, we're coming to find you guys.
I want you to YouTube Squeal
Okay.
and Long Pig because it might be a cool theme song for your
Yeah,
for your
totally.
Pig
We'll,
Sty.
we'll do that the first Pig Sty tasting in Durban.
Definitely. I like that idea. Ooh.
Peppa Pig or The Simpsons?
Ooh. Pass.
I'm going to go with Peppa Pig just because my two boys have been obsessed with it for the last like year and a bit. So I've seen more of Peppa Pig than I have of The Simpsons. But I do love The Simpsons. But the Peppa Pig's got to take it
I've
for me.
only seen the Simpsons music video with Spider Pig.
And I'm guessing you're using a lot of this to survive Peppa Pig as well, hey, David?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe an easy one for you. Pork belly or spider steak?
Spider steak.
Pork belly.
I knew he was going to say that.
Guys are really yin and yang, hey? It's awesome.
But that's good though, because we complement each other.
I do like spider steak. Just pork belly is more versatile. I can do more things with it.
Yeah.
It's radical.
Also makes it better pork belly than he makes a steak.
Yeah, probably. Fair enough.
How about, so then maybe there's definitely one of you that's going to take the first one. Heels or flip-flops?
Flip-flops.
Yeah, but Dave he'll definitely tell you that he's seen me in heels at some stage.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm definitely flip-flop.
No, flip-flops for sure. I've got some Spider-Man flip-flops, so yeah, I'm looking forward to putting those back on for summer.
That's awesome. Well, as we've heard, not all superheroes are human. And by bringing home the bacon, you'll be doing your bit. So get along to Liquor City Claremont to buy their wine. Hop onto their Facebook page to be kept up to date with their marketing prowess. Of course, if you fancy your luck, then answer the easy question here via the Grapevine page, and you could win a fantastic hamper consisting of a Spider Pig cap, a bottle of Piggy Back Pinot Noir, and a bottle of Off the Wall Chardonnay. And David Wibberley assures me the cap is worth an absolute fortune. So
it is.
That is phenomenal. Thank you, gents, for your time and your energy today. I wish you the best of luck and success with your crackling business.
Oh, well, thank you for your continued support. I mean, you have been a shining light and a piggyback supporter, yeah, for sure.
And we have to get you around to the Pig Sty soon, so you can drink all the Chardonnay you want.
Definitely. Please.
End of the month, Halloween party, so start working on your outfit. You can come.
Yeah, you can come as Porto Pig. That's perfect.
Phenomenal. This via the Grapevine, brought to you by Liquor City Claremont. Visit their wine emporium for a journey via the Grapevine.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.